All right, let's start by talking about Delhi city. It's a high-octane battle for the 7 Lok Sabha seats in the national capital that goes to vote today. Let's get you up to speed with the various constituencies and what's really at stake in the crucial parliamentary elections as far as Delhi is concerned. Remember, it's a high-stakes battle for the Delhi Chief Minister, Arvind Kejriwal, in partnership with the Congress. The battle is being fought by the Congress in 3 seats, by the Aam Aadmi Party in 4. BJP is in fact throwing a challenge in all of these 7 seats with 2 women candidates, one from the New Delhi constituency, one from the West Delhi constituency. All of these Lok Sabha constituencies are voting in the 6th and the penultimate phase of the ongoing Lok Sabha election. President Murmu, the Gandhis, Union Mantris, S. Shankar, Hardeep Singh Puri were among the first ones to cast their vote in Delhi. Delhi, remember, the last time around saw a clean sweep by the BJP in the general election in 2014 and 2019. The Congress won all the 7 seats in the year 2009 Lok Sabha elections. It failed to open its account in the year 2014, and the same dismal performance was repeated in 2019 as well. This time around, the Aam Aadmi Party has joined hands with the Congress.
मेरी पत्नी और मेरे दोनों बच्चे हम लोग वोट डाल के आ रहे हैं और मेरी मम्मी आज नहीं आ पाई, उनकी तबीयत बहुत ज़्यादा ख़राब थी और मैंने तानाशाही के खिलाफ, महंगाई के खिलाफ, बेरोज़गारी के खिलाफ वोट डाला है और मैं जनता से, सभी लोगों से, वोटर से अपील करना चाहता हूं कि गर्मी बहुत है, फिर भी घर में ना बैठें, वोट जरूर डालें, अपने मत का अधिकार जरूर इस्तेमाल करें और तानाशाही के खिलाफ सब लोग
क्या कहेंगे? दिल्ली के माहौल क्या है? दिल्ली में क्या कहेंगे? दिल्ली के माहौल को क्या कहेंगे?
मैं समझता हूं कि बहुत भारी संख्या में लोग तानाशाही, महंगाई और बेरोजगारी के खिलाफ वोट डाल रहे हैं।
आपकी बेटी भी पहली बार वोट डाल के गई है।
महंगाई और बेरोजगारी सबसे बड़े मुद्दे हैं, सबसे बड़े मुद्दे हैं सबके लिए और सब चाहते हैं कि ये चुनाव उन्हीं अपने ही मुद्दों पर लड़ा जाए। सब चाहते हैं
विकसित भारत के लिए वोट करिए, सशक्त राष्ट्र के लिए वोट करिए। भारत माता की जय।
बहुत अच्छी सुबह हुई है। सुबह से ही लोग अपने अपने बूथ पे जमा हैं। मैं यहाँ से सीधे जाऊंगा अपने वोट करने घोंडा विधानसभा में, जमुना बिहार। और कहते हैं ना कि जब भगवान सूर्य के किरणों से जैसे ही साक्षात्कार हुआ, ऐसा महसूस हो रहा है कि ये देश के लिए आज बहुत बड़ा योगदान दिल्ली का भी होने जा रहा है।
इंडिया गठबंधन भी दावा कर रहा है कि वो 7 सीटें जीत रहा है दिल्ली में। सपने देखने का हर एक को हक है। मैं किसी को सपने देखने से रोक नहीं सकता हूँ। आगे क्या कहना चाहेंगे? लगता है कि टक्कर है, आपको पहली बार यहाँ पर टिकट मिला है, तो आपको ये लग रहा है कि पिछले 2 बार बीजेपी की जीत तो हुई, उसका कहीं ना कहीं एक फायदा है, लेकिन नया चेहरा होने के नाते चुनौतियां हैं। हमारे पास नेता है, नीति है, नेतृत्व है, समर्पित कार्यकर्ताओं की बहुत बड़ी श्रृंखला है, काम करने का जज्बा है। हमारे नेता ने काम करके दिखाया है।
पूरा चुनाव मुद्दों पर ही लड़ा गया है कि एक तरफ जो मौजूदा सरकार है उसकी फेल्योर है 100%। महंगाई देख लें आप, बेरोजगारी देख लें, किसानों का मुद्दा देख लें, मजदूरों का मुद्दा देख लें, इंडस्ट्री का देख लें, व्यापारी का देख लें, इंटर स्टेट रिलेशन देख लें, कोई भी मुद्दा ऐसा नहीं है जिसमें सरकार सफल रही हो। आर्थिक जो नीति उसकी रही, उससे बेरोजगारी बढ़ी बेशुमार। तो ये सारे मुद्दे और फिर हमारे इलेक्शन प्रॉमिसेस हैं जो हमने गारंटी दी है महिलाओं को, नौजवानों को, किसानों को, बेरोजगार को।
At this booth, the first male voter, want every strong voting today. I want everybody to come out. This is our national duty because मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि एक बार और जो है भारत की जनता जो है विकसित भारत को अपनी वोट देगी। We start early. I hope there's a very strong turnout in Delhi like there is in rest of India.
वोटर मजबूत भारत के लिए वोट दे रहा है, सुदृढ़ नेतृत्व के लिए दे रहा है, विकसित भारत के लिए दे रहा है और एक अच्छे हिंदुस्तान जो माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में बन रहा है, उसके लिए वोट दे रहा है। वोटर्स बाहर आ रहा है, वोटर्स को मालूम है कि मतदान इस लोकतंत्र के पर्व में बहुत आवश्यक है। एक एक मत जरूरी है। हमने भी लगातार अपील की है और आपके माध्यम से भी मैं अपील करता हूँ, दिल्ली का हर नागरिक आज घर से निकले और विकसित भारत के लिए वोट करे।
So all I want to say is that everyone should come out and vote for in as large numbers as possible, because this is our power, this is our democracy, and to make democracy even more powerful, I think it's important for people to come out and vote in large numbers.
दिल्ली के सभी लोग, देश के सभी लोग जहाँ जहाँ पे भी आज मतदान हो रहा है, गर्मी के बावजूद अपने घरों से जरूर निकलेंगे, अपना वोट डालने के लिए जरूर बाहर आएंगे। जो चुनाव है वो लोकतंत्र का एक पर्व है और मुझे लगता है कि हर व्यक्ति की जिम्मेदारी है इसमें अपनी भागीदारी निभाना।
आज लोकतंत्र का बहुत ही ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण दिवस है। मैं सबसे अपील करती हूँ जरूर बाहर आकर अपनी वोट डालें और खासकर मैं महिलाओं से अपील करती हूँ कि वो अपना बहुकीमती वोट जरूर डालें। इस देश में महिलाओं की भागीदारी राजनीति में बहुत जरूरी है।
All right, now let's get you up to speed with what the numbers look like. Who are the key candidates? What about the previous elections in Delhi as far as the national capital is concerned? Let's take a look at the place which has 7 Lok Sabha seats. In the year 2019, a clean sweep by the Bharatiya Janata Party where it won 7 out of 7 seats in Delhi. These are 7 Lok Sabha constituencies. This time around, let's tell you a little about the VVIP candidates here. Jai Prakash Agarwal, veteran Congress leader, has been an MP from Chandni Chowk. He's contesting again. Remember, the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress have joined hands in the national capital this time around. Apart from that, 2 women candidates being fielded by the Bharatiya Janata Party. One is Basari Swaraj, the daughter of late veteran BJP leader Sushma Swaraj from the New Delhi constituency. Her challenger is Somnath Bharti of the Aam Aadmi Party. The other women contender here is Kamaljeet Sehrawat from West Delhi. Kanhaiya Kumar challenging Manoj Tiwari from the Northeast Delhi constituency this time around, and Mahabal Mishra from West Delhi, again a veteran Congress leader, has joined the Aam Aadmi Party and is contesting on the AAP ticket this time around from West Delhi. So this was in fact a sense of the key candidates here. Also, let's talk about the vote share as far as the last elections were concerned, and this is what is interesting. In spite of getting 41% of the votes, 41% of the votes, in Delhi, Congress did not manage to win a single seat. In the similar situation in the year 2014 as well, where there was a complete rout of the Congress party. It remains to be seen how things move this time around in the national capital, where, like I said, there are 7 seats where candidates have been fielded by the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress joining hands on one hand and the BJP on the other. Abhishek Anand, my colleague, is from West Delhi with us. Remember, Mahabal Mishra, an interesting candidate to watch out for. Ashutosh Mishra is in Delhi. Milan is getting us more details from Rohini in Northwest Delhi. I'm going to go straight now to my colleague Abhishek Anand from Dabri in West Delhi. Abhishek, an interesting contest in West Delhi. Mahabal Mishra has been one of the tallest leaders of the Congress party for years together now. Now, of course, he's joined hands with the Aam Aadmi Party. He quit the Congress, but interestingly, this is a fight in which the Congress and the AAP have come together, isn't it, this time around?
Well, certainly for the very first time, Delhi is seeing such kind of battle where the arch rivals are together against the BJP. BJP has been scoring 7-0 in Delhi, but remember, this constituency was once with the Congress party, and Mahabal Mishra, he had been an MLA for 3 times and a member of parliament before 2014. So he is a tall leader, and the BJP has fielded Kamaljeet Sehrawat. She had been a mayor when MCD was in 3 parts. So yes, the local issues are there, but the larger issues, see, there are a variety of issues which are being used in this particular elections. Mahabal Mishra being a veteran now with Aam Aadmi Party ticket because his son is an MLA with the Aam Aadmi Party, and remember, when he was with Congress, at that point of time, his son had joined the Aam Aadmi Party and had won from the party ticket. After that, he was expelled from the party, and later on the Aam Aadmi Party chose to field him. So he is considered one of the most strong candidates from the opposition parties, and this is how the election in West Delhi is going on. Over to you.
That's right. Abhishek getting us up to speed with those details. I'm now going to go across to Ashutosh. More on that, Ashutosh, as far as Purani Delhi is concerned, it's an interesting contest also. For the first time, a trader leader who's been associated with the BJP is fighting against a veteran Congress leader who's won from this particular seat a number of times. His first victory being 40 years ago, isn't it?
And what is more common, that both share the similar caste vote bank, the Banya vote bank, which is known.
True.
So both are banking upon that. But subsequently, what this could be one of the strength of the Congress candidate is this time around that because of the alliance formed between the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress Party, there is one factor that the India bloc believes that this time it will be a consolidation of vote, because 2014 or be 2019, when there was a triangular contest, the anti-BJP vote was split. Though in 2019, even the margin of the BJP was way higher than both AAP and Congress combined together. But this time, looking around, the anti-incumbency could have been against the possible candidate. And you see BJP except Northeast Delhi, all the candidates have been changed. So that's exactly why the formula they adopted. And other than Manoj Tiwari, all these candidates were changed to neutralize the anti-incumbency factor that could have been against the party or the party candidate. So from, that one factor you were seeing in Chandni Chowk area, but subsequently, because I've been traveling from these areas to the southern part, the South Delhi, another key factor constituency. So there you see the AAP has also changed its candidate. BJP has also changed candidate. And very interestingly, 2 MLAs are now in the election for the Member of Parliament. So Aam Aadmi Party has projected Sahiram Pahalwan, who's also a member of Legislative Assembly from Badarpur, whereas the leader of opposition, Rambir Singh Biduri, is now being projected by the BJP. So but that's a really very interesting contest, not only on the factor of the new alliance that is being formed, but also very importantly that arch rivals coming together and the semi-urban divide. But very important factor that even I'm witnessing at the moment here is the rise in temperature. Certain blocks that I've witnessed from Palam to Bijwas and to those areas where I see relatively high turnout of the voters which are coming. But in the open terrain where there is literally impact of the rise in the temperature, that is potentially now affecting the voter turnout, and that was actually a key concern, raises question on the Election Commission and their officials that probably this could have been avoided. These elections could have been, preponed way earlier. But now, of course, end of the day, voters, because of this temperature, will be deprived from using their voter right. But only we can hope that this is one such festival comes once in 5 years. But let's expect that voter will come out and you use their democratic rights in the biggest festival of democracy.
Right.
Sneha.
Right. That's a concern, undoubtedly. Coming back to you in a moment from now, Milan is in fact in Northwest Delhi. Milan, talk to us a little about the voting percentages as of now. What are the latest numbers? What kind of voting do you see really around you in this particular constituency from where Congress has fielded Udit Raj? I recall very well that when he was fielded, to begin with, there was a lot of concern within workers of the Congress party saying that he's an outsider. To tell our viewers, Udit Raj had actually won his first election on a BJP ticket, isn't it, Milan?
That's very interesting, Sneha. And if I'm audible to you, Udit Raj won from a BJP ticket in 2014, right? And in 2019, Udit Raj was changed and Hans Raj Hans was given a ticket on this very seat of Northwest Delhi. I'm in the Rohini area right now, and because of network issues, I don't want to move much, but you can see here behind me, voters and urban voters in this area of Rohini are stepping out to vote, and there are various facilities. There's a wheelchair that's been given to older voters as well, and a lot of these facilities are being given for the urban voters, Sneha. Coming back to the fact that when Hans Raj Hans won from this very constituency, the Northwest Delhi, he won by a vote share of 60% that went to BJP and by a margin of more than 5.5 lakh votes. Now the fact that he was never seen in the constituency, the ticket was changed. Apart from Manoj Tiwari's ticket, all tickets BJP had changed, and now the ticket goes to Yogendra Chandolia, who is a mayor from the North Municipal Corporation. He has been the standing committee chairman as well of the MCD. So, of course, he knows the local issues, knows the area, and certainly there are a section of people who want to vote for the brand Modi name, but there are a section of people who perhaps, want to check out who the candidate is this time. And Udit Raj is confident enough because this also happens to be the only reserved seat in Delhi. So this is a SC reserved seat. Of course, both candidates belong to the, Dalit community, and that also holds a very large percentage of vote if we talk about areas like Mundka, Rithala, Narela, and all these areas that border around Haryana. Congress, for that matter, also wants to bring in the Jat voters of the area, because the Jat voter is also in a large percentage in this particular area. If we talk about Bhavana, Narela, the Jat voters are at least more than 20%, 25% in these areas. So not just the Dalit, but the Jat combination could actually help define this particular seat that went to the BJP 2 times over, and it remains to be seen whether the Congress, it used to be a Congress gad, years ago, but whether the Congress can actually snatch it back this time from the BJP is something that is, a big question. And of course, in the urban voters' minds, the issues are, of whether their area is clean, the development is there. But they're also voting for national issues because this is a, national election per se. And the fact remains that this time the alliance of the Aam Aadmi Party as well as the Congress has put in, a question also, and whether or not they want to bring in a candidate that is an alliance candidate or still, depending on the BJP candidate is something that we are witnessing. Northwest, Sneha has also got one of the highest voter percentages till we are speaking right now. They've crossed about 22%, and it's only, the first half of the day with the people stepping out in large numbers to vote here. Back to you.
Fingers crossed as far as the voting percentage is concerned. All my colleagues have pointed out to the fact that it's extremely hot and it is insane, and that could affect the voting patterns in Delhi that we're seeing. Now, staying with news of Delhi, phase 6 of the Lok Sabha election, 7 seats in the national capital. The last time BJP won all 7, even before that. But who are the key candidates? The New Delhi constituency, a prestige seat, battle between BJP's Basudri Swaraj on one hand and Aam Aadmi Party's Somnath Bharti on the other hand, as far as the New Delhi constituency here is concerned. Let's take a look at the other seats here. Kanhaiya Kumar of the Congress Party and his challenger is Manoj Tiwari. This is the Northeast Delhi constituency, one of the key constituencies in the national capital. Let's move ahead. JP Agarwal from the Chandni Chowk, the smallest constituency in the entire country. His key challenger is Praveen Khandelwal. He's contesting elections for the first time, and his challenger is JP Agarwal, a veteran leader of the Congress Party. Udit Raj of the Congress and Yogendra Chandolia of the Bharatiya Janata Party in the Northwest Delhi. Yogendra Chandolia was also a mayor in Delhi but has lost assembly elections, at least 3 of them in the past. Mahapal Mishra, again one of the stronger leaders of the Congress Party, but has now joined the Aam Aadmi Party, contesting from West Delhi. And the second woman candidate being fielded by the Bharatiya Janata Party is Kamaljeet Sehrawat. She is his key challenger as far as the West Delhi seat is concerned. Sahi Ram Pahalwan of the Aam Aadmi Party and Ranveer Singh Biduri as far as South Delhi is concerned. Also Kuldeep Kumar of the Aam Aadmi Party and Harsh Malhotra from East Delhi. These are the key contenders as far as the fight for Delhi is concerned. My colleague Ashutosh also continues to be with us. Ashutosh, let's talk a little about the key New Delhi constituency. Now, a lot of misconception around this constituency is what I picked up also when I was reporting from here, that this has only the elite population, Lutyens Delhi as we know it. But we do know that it's got a significant slum population, and there are different sections that each of these candidates have to cater to. It's a prestige seat. Basudri Swaraj has been fielded by the Bharatiya Janata Party. She, of course, is the daughter of late BJP leader Sushma Swaraj. Somnath Bharti in his campaigns has been talking about the fact that this is Parivarvad, isn't it?
Well, Sneha, your reports already neutralized the myth about the Delhi being a cosmopolitan city, but it has a divide of the urban and the rural. It also has a divide of the rich and poor. And clearly New Delhi believed to be the district of national capital. It not only has the government employees, semi-government employees, or the richer class, the upper class or the middle upper class. It has the mixed population. You have the cluster inside the national capital. There are cluster and thousands of votes, and subsequently the area which is expanding up to Shahpur Jat, to east of Kailash, to Greater Kailash and other places. So you have a multiple divide and different vote banks. So clearly, and very interestingly, if you see, before we come to that candidate part, in 2019, in 2014, if you see the voting percentage, that was largely gone in the favor of the BJP. But the similar, if you see the booth report data, for example, at this particular booth, if that was voted in 2014 and 2019 to the BJP, the maximum vote from the very same booth, the very same electorate, voted for the Aam Aadmi Party in the assembly election, which were just barely in 7 to 8 months from the parliamentary election. So that's one very contrast that we have seen so far in the national capital. And as I said, this time makes it interesting because the arch rival coming together, banking upon the consolidation of vote, which could possibly one reason why they formed an alliance. Now, New Delhi, you spoke about Sushma Swaraj's daughter, Bansuri Swaraj. Of course, being one of the very renowned face, she has been campaigning very hard, very close to the people, that she has campaigned not very aggressively, but in fact tried to reach out to every household. Whereas against her, the Aam Aadmi Party projected Somnath Bharti, MLA from New Delhi Parliamentary Constituency, of course from Malviya Nagar Assembly Constituency, and where Aam Aadmi Party was also campaigning for Somnath Bharti, almost all top leaders carried out road show. But when it comes to the face value, if you notice and observe, then Bansuri Swaraj somewhere holds a weightage, because having a background, a political background of Sushma Swaraj, and then BJP's own core vote bank and their own strength, and that could be one reason why the BJP believes that Bansuri Swaraj may have an edge. But remember, this time, because of the anti-incumbency factor, if you see, BJP changed 6 out of 7 candidates from Delhi. And because there was belief that there could be anti-incumbency, to neutralize that factor was only the experiment that they changed candidate. And if that at all is the case, perhaps that gave an idea that if there is an alliance between Aam Aadmi Party, because even 2019, 2014, there were votes with the AAP and the Congress as well. Now combined together, let me also tell you, because of the campaign, I have noticed that AAP workers, Congress workers did campaign together. And as far as vote transfer factor is concerned, that could have been noticed by the party, and that's exactly why they formed an alliance. So because your workers coming together, your party cadre coming together, there is a belief that vote bank is also similar, which is the anti-BJP. And if they come together, and of course the arrest of Kejriwal, he's coming out on bail, campaigning, giving even a slight momentum, 5 to 6% of margin to the India bloc, then it can potentially change the game. But for now, it's a battle on all 7 seats in the national capital.
All right, I'm going to thank you, Ashutosh. Interesting point you make about anti-incumbency, and that's the reason why of the 7 seats, BJP chose to in fact do away with the other 6 candidates, but only retained 1. We're shifting focus now to West Bengal, and I'm coming to you right now from the Victoria Memorial. Remember, 8 seats are being, in fact, people are voting on 8 seats today, 8 Lok Sabha constituencies. The last time around, Trinamool Congress won on 3 of these. The BJP won on 5 of these seats of the 8 that are going to go to polls today. As far as the key challenges here, key players concerned, let's talk about the brother of Shubhendu Adhikari, Somenadu Adhikari from the Bharatiya Janata Party, who has been fielded by the Saffron Party. West Bengal is going to polls. 8 seats is what we are talking about. Polling is underway here. The state has a history of significant election-related violence, and this time is no different. Now, in East Midnapore, clashes erupted between BJP and TMC workers, resulting in the death of a TMC worker. This incident led to the arrest of 5 BJP workers. The TMCs accused the BJP supporters of murdering their worker, while the BJP claimed that the clash was instigated by the TMC. Following the violence, BJP candidate Agnimitra Paul faced protests in East Midnapore, where TMC workers staged a gherao. Similarly, in Haldia, former Calcutta High Court Judge Abhijit Gangopadhyay, the BJP candidate from Tamluk, also encountered protests from TMC supporters who staged a demonstration against him.
तृणमूल कांग्रेस के जो समर्थक हैं वो इस वक्त प्रदर्शन कर रहे हैं और गाड़ी में है अग्निमित्रा पॉल, जिनकी गाड़ी यहाँ पे रोकी गई है ये कहते हुए कि उनके पास उनके कॉन्वॉय में जो बाकी गाड़ियां हैं उस पे परमिशन स्टिकर जो है वो लगाने हैं। आपको दिखाएंगे किस तरह का ये अग्निमित्रा पॉल की गाड़ी है, ये एस्कॉर्ट व्हीकल है। उनको कहा गया है कि उनका परमिशन लेटर जो है वो चिपकाया नहीं गया है। सर, क्यों रोका जा रहा है उनकी गाड़ी को?
वो हमें पता।
और जैसे ही उनकी कॉन्वॉय यहाँ पे रोक दी गई, वो यहाँ पे खड़े हैं। उनका ये कहना है कि पुलिस उनसे मांग रही है कि परमिशन लेटर गाड़ी में चिपकाया क्यों नहीं गया है। वो कह रही है कि सॉफ्ट कॉपी उनके पास है क्योंकि उनकी गाड़ी और कॉन्वॉय को यहाँ पे रोका गया है। पीछे मीडिया की जो कॉन्वॉय है और आप देख सकते हैं किस तरह से तृणमूल कांग्रेस के जो समर्थक है वो इस वक्त अग्निमित्रा पॉल के खिलाफ नारेबाजी कर रहे हैं, ये कहते हुए कि अग्निमित्रा पॉल जब से आई है यहाँ पे भड़काने की कोशिश कर रही है। शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से यहाँ पे चुनाव प्रोसेस जो है वो चल रहा था, लेकिन जैसे वो आई यहाँ पे सिचुएशन टेंस हो गया है और वो नारेबाजी करके ये कह रहे हैं कि अग्निमित्रा पॉल यहाँ से चली जाए। कैमरा पर्सन किरणजीत दास के साथ इंद्रजीत।
पुलिस रोक रहे हैं, पुलिस बोल रहे हैं आपका गाड़ी का परमिशन दिखाइए। परमिशन दिखा दिए, उसके बाद बोल रहे परमिशन आप मोबाइल में दिखा रहे, हार्ड कॉपी क्यों नहीं दिखा रहे? हार्ड कॉपी देने का तो कोई बात ही नहीं है। सारा भारत चल रहा है सॉफ्ट कॉपी में, डिजिटल इंडिया में। प्रोसेस को स्लो करने का कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
इस वक्त हमें नंदीग्राम में और पूर्व मिदनापुर में चुनाव चल रहा है जो शुभेंदु गर्ग कहा जाता है। फिलहाल शुभेंदु अधिकारी हमारे साथ है। दादा, सुबह से आपके इस इलाके में चुनाव किस तरीके से चल रहा है, कितना शांतिपूर्ण है?
देखिए, जिस तरीके से बंगाल में चुनाव होता है इस तरीके से चुनाव टीएमसी नहीं कर पा रहा है। इसलिए दोनों रीजन है, एक तो सेंट्रल पैरामिलिट्री फोर्स का थोड़ा बहुत एक्टिवनेस और दूसरा जनता के बीच जागरूक। और भारतीय जनता पार्टी वर्कर जहां मजबूत है जो एरिया में, वहाँ रेजिस्टेंस हो रहा है गुंडा के खिलाफ। इसलिए मास स्केल रिगिंग छापा नहीं हो रहा है, लेकिन जहां खास करके एक समुदाय का वोट है, एक समुदाय का लीडर टीएमसी का लीडर है, जैसे आमिरुल बोल के यहाँ बाबू खान बाड़, वहाँ 5 बीजेपी वर्कर का इंजोर कर दिया और खास करके हिंदू वोट को रोक रहा है। फिर सीआरपीएफ का क्यूआरटी जाकर हिंदू वोट को बूथ में जा रहा है, वोट डाल रहा है। ये छोटा मोटा कुछ हो रहा है। और ओवरऑल विष्णुपुर का इंदास, घाटाल का केसपुर, यहाँ मैसिव स्केल में गड़बड़ी चल रहा है। इंदास में 40 बूथ और यहाँ केसपुर में 56 बूथ। बाकी तो ठीक ही है, टीएमसी तो टाइट में है।
अंदाजा यही इशारा कर रहा है क्योंकि अब आखिरी पड़ाव की तरफ चुनाव बढ़ रहा है। क्या आपके घर में ये 2 सीट, इसका नतीजा क्या होगा, डिफरेंसेस क्या होंगे और कुल बंगाल में
डिफरेंस क्या होगा वो तो पोलिंग परसेंटेज आने दीजिए, 6 बजे का बाद बताऊंगा। लेकिन ये 8 सीट मोदी जी की ओर जा रहा है। मैं भी वोट डाल दिया मोदी जी के पक्ष में। मोदी है तो मुमकिन है।
और पूरा बंगाल का इशारा किस तरफ है, क्योंकि लगभग खत्म होने को है? कितना सीट, बहुत कड़ी टक्कर।
बंगाल का इशारा कमल की ओर है और भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ, तुष्टीकरण के खिलाफ, परिवारवाद के खिलाफ लोग वोट डाल रहा है, विकास का पक्ष में।
ममता जी बार बार कह रही है कि इस बार बीजेपी की सरकार नहीं
छोड़ दीजिए। वो तो इस बार चुनाव में प्रधानमंत्री के जिस तरीके से अटैक किया, जिस तरीके से रामकृष्ण मिशन, भारत सेवा संघ, इस्कॉन, इसको अटैक किया, साधु संत समाज को अटैक किया, इस तरीके से कोई भाषा ये बंगाल का संस्कृति का पक्ष में नहीं है, खिलाफ है।
मेरा आखिरी सवाल, कल अब कोलकाता में चुनाव होने जा रहा है। आप जिस बात का जिक्र आपने किया, वहां पर साधु संत ने रैली भी निकाला। इस तरीके के विवाद का प्रभाव आखिर के चुनाव में कोलकाता में कितना पड़ेगा?
देखिए, मेरा जो ग्राउंड रियलिटी है, पिछले बार 100 मुसलमान में 91% वोट ममता को दिया। इस बार ज्यादा वोट मिल रहा है ममता जी को, लेकिन 91 नहीं मिल रहा है मुसलमान वोट। 60-65% मुस्लिम वोट जा रहा है। और जो सनातनी राष्ट्रवादी है, जो रामकृष्ण मिशन, भारत सेवा संघ, इस्कॉन से साथ जुड़ा हुआ है, ठाकुर अनुकूल चंद्र के डिवोटी है, बाबा लोकनाथ ब्रह्मचारी जी का डिवोटी है, इसका कंसोलिडेशन पिछले टाइम आउट ऑफ 100 54 था। इस बार 70% से ज्यादा राष्ट्रवादी सनातनी का वोट कमल की ओर जा रहा है।
शुक्रिया। हमसे बात करने के लिए हम शुभेंदु अधिकारी से बात की। वो कॉन्फिडेंट के उसके घर में भी तृणमूल कांग्रेस को वो फतेह करेंगे, ऐसा उसका कहना है।
All right. So first of all, to tell our viewers, pictures on your screens right now are coming in from Ranchi, where Mahendra Singh Dhoni is on his way to cast his vote. And as you can see, excited media persons there just to get a glimpse of him, just to get a couple of shots of MS Dhoni there, who's all set to cast his vote. Shifting our focus back to West Bengal, let's get you the numbers from the state of West Bengal, where 42 Lok Sabha constituencies are there. Of course, today 8 go to polls. Let's talk about the vote share the last time around, first of all. And we know that was 45% for the Bharatiya Janata Party and 44% for the Trinamool Congress. As far as the number of seats are concerned and the VIP candidates are concerned, first of all, the VIP candidates in the state of Bengal. You can see Suminendu Adhikari, the brother of Suvendu Adhikari, who just spoke to us, being fielded by the Bharatiya Janata Party. Soumitra Khan, again from Bishnupur by the BJP, and Sujata Mondal of the Trinamool Congress. As far as the seats are concerned, 5 for the Bharatiya Janata Party, 3 for the Trinamool Congress. We'll get that data up as well in a few seconds from now, but going straight to Indrajit Kundu for the very latest. Indrajit, give us a sense of what's the voting. What are the voting numbers like right now as we speak? Do you see brisk voting, so to speak? And also a little about the kind of violence that the state has seen, especially the East Midnapur area.
Well, Sneha, brisk voting has taken place, and that is generally what we have seen over the past few phases as well. Generally, it's between 75 to 80% is what the total turnout in West Bengal is, far ahead of the rest of the country. Till about 11 o'clock this morning, we had around 35% average polling across 8 seats. A very crucial phase, 8 seats spread across 3 to 4 districts. In this phase, actually, out of the 8 seats, BJP had won majority of the seats, 5 of the seats. So it's Kaante ka takkar, as you would call it, on these, especially in East and West Midnapur. East Midnapur, of course, is Shubhendu Adhikari's own home turf, and he is the leader of opposition, somebody who is literally, giving shape to the BJP's campaign here in West Bengal. We are here in Midnapur, which is in West Midnapur. Midnapur seat is also very crucial because last time it was Dilip Ghosh, who was a former state president of BJP, had won this seat. This time he was shunted out and given a different seat. So Agnimitra Paul, who is an MLA of the BJP, she's contesting here, and she's up against June Malia, the actor and MLA from the Trinamool Congress. So it's a very, very key contest taking place in Midnapur. Since morning, we have been trailing Agnimitra Paul's convoy. I've seen there are several places where she went and she faced protest, and there were some heated altercations with the police. However, so far, we haven't seen a very big incident of violence in Midnapur.
But there is violence that is being reported. Unfortunately, becoming synonymous with politics in Bengal is violence, isn't it? Jayanta Ghoshal, senior journalist, joining us. Jayanta Ghoshal, first of all, as far as today is concerned, the 8 seats that we're seeing a challenge on, a majority of the vote share at 45% by the BJP. The last time around, 44 was the Trinamool Congress. Essentially, it's a neck-and-neck fight in each of these 8 Lok Sabha constituencies today, of course. Also give us a sense of whether this violence that we're seeing even surprises you anymore.
Exactly. I completely agree with you. Unfortunately, the West Bengal election has become synonymous with the political violence. And the political violence, I think West Bengal is the first boy among all the states. But this election, this violence, I have 40 years of experience in journalism and with special reference to West Bengal politics. I think it is lesser than the earlier elections. And maybe thanks to Election Commission, maybe thanks to these central forces. But this time, what you are mentioning, this 8 seats, it's a good seats for BJP because it's a Suvendu Adhikari's area, stronghold area, and Kathi and Tamluk, these 2 seats are highly dominated by Suvendu Adhikari's and BJP's updated organizational strength. And in fact, Midnapur, that seat also, Dilip Ghosh was there. And this seat is also influenced by RSS for pretty long time. Earlier it was with the communists, then it is with the BJP. But you know, in this election, this polarization and versus this appeasement theories, this conflicting politics, I don't know what shape in the voters' behavior, because 30% Muslim vote, that's a very strong advantage for Trinamool Congress. They start the election with 30%. So this communist and Congress alliance, how much Muslim vote they can take from their voters, so-called secular voters, that much will depend on that result. And the percentage of vote, what you mentioned, completely agree that this is a BJP's strong percentage of vote. And this poll percentage also, now it is already 73%, highest in this country. So I think this huge percentage of vote, whether it is anti-incumbency against the local government or the political consciousness, in which way I will interpret that, I am not very clear, but it's a very good sign.
Right. All right. Jayanta Kaushal, this conversation will continue, requesting you to be with us as we keep our close eyes very firmly, in fact, on developments from across 58 Lok Sabha seats that are voting today. More news coming in. Former Pakistan Mantri now endorses Arvind Kejriwal's post. Pakistan Neta repost Arvind Kejriwal's dictator attack. Pakistan's Fawad says defeat forces of hate after backing Rahul Gandhi, and because of which there was a big controversy too that had erupted at that point in time. It appears there is a fresh bid to influence polls. Amit is getting us more details on that. Not the first time that the controversial minister last time had endorsed Rahul Gandhi, now endorsing Arvind Kejriwal, just gives the BJP an opportunity to go after the opposition, doesn't it, Amit?
But Sneha, you know what has happened in this particular case is that Aam Aadmi Party chief Arvind Kejriwal has retorted, attacked Fawad Chaudhry immediately, because he knew that this would give fuel to the BJP and an opportunity to the Bharatiya Janata Party not only to attack him but also India alliance, and that's why Arvind Kejriwal spent no time and he attacked Fawad Chaudhry, saying that we are capable of taking care of Indian elections, and Indian elections are internal matter of my country. It is better for you to focus on Pakistan. The Pakistan's state is not good. It's going through really bad phase. So you better focus on your issues rather than commenting on Indian elections. So Arvind Kejriwal has hit back at Fawad Chaudhry, the PTI leader, the Pakistani leader, giving no opportunity to the Bharatiya Janata Party whatsoever in this particular case. We had seen, as you were mentioning as well, you know, in Congress's case, as to how the BJP and the NDA had attacked the Congress party over the endorsement from the PTI leader Fawad Chaudhry. But in case of Arvind Kejriwal, he spent no time, lost no opportunity. He immediately attacked Fawad Chaudhry, asking him to better take care of Pakistan, because Pakistan's state is not good, and that Indian elections are internal matter of Indian democracy, and that India's voters and India's politicians are well equipped to deal with this situation. Back to you.
Right. And more news coming in, like Amit was telling us, that the Delhi Chief Minister has hit back at the former Pakistan Mantri, saying that my country is capable of handling issues. Arvind Kejriwal says, take care of your own country first. Polls in India is our internal matter. India won't tolerate interference on the part of Pakistan. Essentially, with this statement, I think the attack of the BJP has been blunted by the Delhi CM, isn't it, Amit?
True, Sneha, that's what I was saying as well, you know, that because he knew, Arvind Kejriwal understood it very much, very properly, that if any opportunity is lost or any delay happens, then it would give an opportunity to the BJP to attack Arvind Kejriwal, Aam Aadmi Party and the India alliance in this case. And that is why, without losing any time, the attack on Fawad Chaudhry's tweet is coming right from Arvind Kejriwal himself, and in 2 different tweets Arvind Kejriwal has hit out at Fawad Chaudhry, asking him to focus on Pakistan itself, and along with that also saying that India is capable of handling its internal matter. Sneha.
Thank you for the moment for getting us up to speed with those details. Amit Bhardwaj with that report on the reaction of the Delhi Chief Minister after former Pakistan Mantri endorsed his tweet. Delhi CM says it's our internal matter. It's time for a break. On the other side, we'll continue to get you updates from the national capital, West Bengal, Jharkhand. All of these states going to polls today. Remember, after today, 90% of the votes to be cast in the Lok Sabha elections would have been cast. Staying with pictures from Delhi, where S. Jaishankar voted earlier today. So did the Vice President of the country, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, along with their entire family. Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, the Delhi Chief Minister with his family, everybody casting their vote, getting inked early this morning.